Hello dear friends and welcome to my YouTube channel. We will continue covering GM and IM norm tournaments in Armenia, Andranik Margaryan Memorial, and also we do have another round in Bundesliga. Let's go. Let's start with the standings of Andranik Margaryan Memorial GM norm. We do have two players 3.5 points out of 4, and then we do have 3 players 2.5 points, and then Arad Nazari 2 points out of 4. 2 players are 1.5 points out of 4. Rick Gasparian is half point out of 4, and Levon Babujan didn't score points yet. So let's see the games of 5th round. Alex Sahakian with the white pieces managed to beat Pranet Vupala. Ragozin, Queen B3, Knight C6. Another move is to play A5 or C5. D takes C, Knight C6, Bishop G5, Queen A5. If C takes D, Knight D5. If Bishop F6, D takes C. Not really sure why Pranet Vupala went Knight C6, Bishop G5, H6, Bishop takes C3. Usually white is getting this position with the Queen on A4. No doubts, Queen is much better placed on B3. Takes, Bishop takes C4, short castle, Bishop D6. White is already slightly better. Queen C3. Yes, somehow Rook A C1 looks quite logical move as well. Queen C3, decent move. Rook FD1, King H8, definitely black is preparing some F5 ideas. A3, classy move. Knight D8, Queen C2, not the best, but... And now Knight G3, again not the best. And Knight F7. The best would have been Knight C6, but of course Pranet Vupala just went Knight D8, and coming back to C6 would have been psychologically harder. Knight F7, E4, very good move. And here E5 was working, F takes G, H takes G, Knight E2, Knight G5, E5, great move, takes, Queen G5, King H1, Bishop E7, Bishop D3. Queen B3 was the best move. And now black is fine, Bishop C6 for example. Definitely Alex Sahakian wanted to continue with Bishop E4. Let's just see. Bishop 4, Queen E4, Queen F5. No doubts white is slightly better. Queen H4, Bishop E4, Bishop C6, and here something like Bishop C6, Queen E4 or Rook G1. Engine doesn't like Knight C3, Bishop takes C4, Knight takes C4, Queen H3. Yes, Rook D3, C6, Queen B3, B6, Rook A, B8 would have been better. Rook G1, Rook A, C8, and now Queen A4. Pawns are hanging on C6 and A7. C5. Yes, this is already very unpleasant position for black. Yes, Knight D6 would have been more precise. Takes, Rook takes G5. Yes, but G6 doesn't seem easy move to play. This course, queen f1, rook g1, queen d3, queen g7, checkmate ideas are coming. Rook g4, takes, queen d7, white is completely winning. King is very safe. Yes, and Pranat Bhupala reason it. Yes, we are having very short draw in Robert Piliposyan, Musavi, Khalil, London, knight c6, e takes knight h5, bishop e3, bishop d6, bishop d3, the best move. Because if you go knight e5, then knight f6 is coming, g6 is another move, f4, yes, queen b6, queen b3, knight g8 is one attempt. After queen b6, a4 is also very interesting move. I know that this move doesn't really work because you just take, you take, and if knight c4, you go bishop g3 check and then d takes c. Bishop d3, knight f4, and seems like Khalil Mustafi offered the draw, and Robert Piliposyan took it. Yes, bishop f4, I remember game of Magnus Carlsen against Grigori Kaidanov. Maybe we do have some broadcast issues and players really continued. Hard to say. Information, dear viewers, please let me know. No, we are having, and we are having the game of the day. Yes. Arsen Davtyan is playing Vladislav Nodrachev, and both players are having 3.5 points out of 4, and Nodrachev won with the black pieces. What happened? This is my personal opinion. I know that Arsen is very flexible a player. He can play very sharp, dynamic positions, also some positional, slow game. But somehow I don't think this line, this opening, fits him. And actually, I don't think this Scotch and especially the c5 h4 really fits or suits someone. It is such a chaotic lines. h4, f6, many other moves are possible. My personal results aren't good. So I remember I lost one game against Indic in a very shameful way. And one game I drew against Arman Pashikian, but because Arman Pashikian decided not to torture me, and tournament standings were very good for him, and that's why game ended in a draw. Otherwise, I would most likely lose another game. c4, knight b6, e takes, g takes. Seems like Arsen knows what's the best. F6, knight b6, e takes, g takes. Takes, g takes, bishop e3, bishop a6, queen h5, queen f7, queen f7 takes, knight d2, d5, rook c1, rook c8. But exactly this position looks more or less a3, bishop e7, and now white is already much better. c5, not the only move, but interesting one. Bishop d6, and here rook takes c6 was possible. Maybe Arsen didn't like d4. What if I try d4? what would just rook g2, bishop d4. So instead of taking the pawn, he went knight b3, which is not the best. Bishop h2 came. Rook g2, king d2 would have been better. Just trading the other bishop. Rook takes c6. And now again, what is much better? And what is almost winning? King d3. f4 was finishing the game. Probably bishop f4 takes rook c7. More or less decent move. And now f4 was winning. And rook a4. d4 was there. And this is again completely winning. +3. But Arsene does have only a little bit more than 4 minutes. And he goes b3, rook a5 and not a4. Which does look very good, but he takes knight c7. Rook c8. And here just knight a6, rook c6, a8. And white is much better. Wow, 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 wow. Why really? He forgot probably something. It just takes. Maybe he simply didn't see that knight a6 move is there. And this is of course completely lost. Yes, no words, dear friends, to describe how painful this game was for Arsene Davtyan. Yes, I was criticizing without really knowing how game went, but Arsene was everything under control. Just in the end of the game, he maybe simply forgot something or blundered something or just didn't see that knight a6 move is there. But earlier also he was winning, and after rook a8 position is completely lost. Painful loss for Arsene Davtyan. We are having another game. Eric Hakopian is playing Arad Nazar, and players are having Najdorf, bishop g5, f4, knight bd7, queen e2, e5, takes, knight f5, knight b6, queen f3, bishop f5, queen takes f5, bishop e7. I think more or less I'm aware of this. Yes, this line is very interesting. e5. Here, stopping long castle, takes bishop e7. Many moves are possible. Bishop h4 engine somehow doesn't like. And a4, very good move. Bishop g3, h takes g. b6. Queen h3 would have been better. Queen f3. Anyway, very decent move. Bishop e2. Queen e3, attacking the pawn on h6. a5. Yes, queen a7. Takes, and now black is fine. As black is already better. Again, white is better. And now in this position, rook f2, c3 was the best move. Knight c5, takes, f5. Yes, knight g5 was there, knight d4. Yes, not the best move. The best would have been some queen d3. Yes, this is also working. And game ended in a draw. And unfortunately, Levon Babujan lost another game with the black pieces against Eric Gasparian, who also had very tough tournament. And b5 takes this. Bishop f4. I'm not sure exactly how do you call this gambit, but I remember Boris Savchenko played this gambit against me last year. I think I played g3 maybe here. Yes, this a6, bishop e2, a takes b, knight e5. Yes, white is just much better. And now black is getting some hopes, some counterplay. Knight e3. Rook b1. Knight g8 was best. Just knight takes c3. And now queen d3. Queen d2 would have been the best. Maybe with the ideas to go bishop e2. As this. And this is completely winning. White is 3 pawns up. And black doesn't have any real compensation. Yes, and Rick Gasparian won with the white pieces. So we aren't having standings yet. Let's see which results are we having for IM Norm tournament. Pashikian, Okara. Yes, let's just here understand. So Nozdrachev is 4.5 out of 5. Taftian is 3.5. Musavi 3. Filiposian 3. Hakopian 3. Nazari 2.5. Pranet Vupala 1.5. Alexei Eric Gasparian 1.5. Levon Babujan tournament doesn't go well for him. And here we are having Rodolf Pashikian lost. Vace Hovakimian, Georgi Bagaturov ended in a draw. Karmanova Rakelian ended in a draw. Sukyasian Shahinian ended in a draw. And Zakarian Torosian ended in a draw. It's only. So let's see. Knight c6, queen b6, this, bishop e2, rook b1 is another move. Bishop d7, h4, another direction. Yes, I know that knight e7, queen c7, knight c8, knight b6 are the ideas. f6, too ambitious by Andrei Okara. h4, maybe not the best move. Knight h6. Yeah, short castle would have been the best. Knight f7. It takes f, g takes f, b3, opening up the position. Yes, engine doesn't like c takes b, I guess. Oh, it likes, it's fine. Bishop a4, rook c8, and now as what is much better, but what it was saying, c takes b3, knight takes b3, bishop a4, knight fd2, knight f5 or long castle, bishop h5, and now queen f3 is the best move. Knight b3, bishop b3. Which move is coming? a4. What if I just take? Takes, bishop b3. The computer doesn't suggest. Yes, you just go short castle. Yes, rook h3. Mistake by Rudolf Pashikian. Queen, rook g8. King f1, knight f5. Queen e1 would have been the best. Queen c2. And this is already lost. Wow. Rook g2, rook g8. Game of the day. Game of the day. Wow. Wow. Knight takes d2. Yes, it is lost. No words. Andrei Okara played game of the day, maybe even game of the tournament. Starting from here, one sacrifice, and only move, only winning move. And here another sacrifice. Very good game. Let's see how did this game went. So black doesn't have problems. Black is already better, maybe even much better. And slowly white is trying to equalize. Yes, Vladimir Shanian plays very solid, very good chess. And he drew the game. And Karmanova against Arakelian, Grünfeld. And this is what... no, I apologize. Here bishop c6, b takes c, queen c2 is what Alexander Ryazantsev is recommending. Bishop takes c3. Of course, white is having enough compensation. Queen b6 would have been the best. Yes, white is maybe slightly better. And I really like white's position. But seems... yes, very, very logical play. And Karmanova had a slightly better position. And we are having... oh, this one seems... Karmanova maybe had some small chances, but it was not something huge. And let's see here. This line I play myself. King e1, rook e8. Engine doesn't like rook e8. Maybe it's the time for queen d7. So rook e8, this, c4, bishop d8, e4. e4 would have been the best. King h7. It takes f. So this, g takes f, and now knight takes knight e4, knight c5. Another mistake by David Zakarian. G takes c would have been better. It's just rook e1, queen e1, g6. A lot of inaccuracies, but by both players. And slowly game ended in a draw. Wow. Yes, let's see the... let's hope for the... still, we don't have them. And we don't have... so Rudolf Pashikian is 3.5 points out of 5. Paris Okasian 3.5 out of 5. Karmanova 3. Zakarian Bagaturov 2.5, Shahinian 2, Arakelian 2, Hovakimian 2, Okara 2, Volodya Torosian 1.5 points. Okay. Yes, let's move and see some games from German Bundesliga round 6. And I should say that just won against Ivan Šarić. It was Najdorf, Bishop E2, this F4, and this line I had a chance to play with the black pieces against Roberto Vanisian. I think I managed to find this D5, and even Anish played someone recently. But D5 it takes D, knight D5, knight D5, queen D5, long castle, Anish took queen D2. Here D5 is the best move, he takes D, knight D5, knight D5, queen D5, long castle. Not mistaken, queen G2 is the best move. Can that be possible actually? Yes, queen G2, rook G1, queen E4, rook G7, rook D8, queen E3. All this I managed to find against Roberto Vanisian, but of course in the end, anyway, lost the game. Yes, A5. Ivan reacts in a very bad way. Yes, just knight D4 and +1 already for white, and it is very obvious that you are not going to create any counterplay along A and B files, and white is having pressure along D file and always can push G and H pawns, always can take on D6. So takes this, long castle A4, and for example A3, yes, A3. I didn't know the evaluation, but I felt that after A3, black simply doesn't have any attack anytime soon. So bishop D6 takes, but of course Niels knows if you can grab the pawn, why to just wait. A3, queen G3. Of course, rook C3, always queen C3. Ivan tried, but didn't really work. Yes, simply no. Queen G3, maybe knight A4, not the best. But, you know, it's not the best for computers. Yes, queen, bishop G4 just resigns. Yes, king F7, E6. Very good game by Niels Grandelius, and of course, a very good prep. Ivan didn't know or couldn't remember, and he simply reacted badly. Yes, this was a very interesting game. My team captain Borki Predojevic, he had much better position. So this is very well known line, and here one of the moves is to go E5, which actually Anish Giri recommends in his course. A5, A4, knight B4. Idani Puya likes going A5 and knight B4 ideas. This queen B6, knight F3, bishop G4, bishop C4, rook C8, rook F1. Seems like Porky and Frederick as well, they knew this position. I didn't know that this is some kind of theoretical line. Yes, you should play A4 and now knight B4. You should play some king B1, queen B6, knight F3, bishop G4. Yes, I didn't know all this, and now rook C4 takes rook C8, bishop E6, and now knight E8. Yes, this is known position, seems like, for Borky and for Frederick as well. Yes, and here knight D6 is the best move. Rook E6, F takes E, queen E2. Yes, queen D6 was played. Queen takes, knight takes. And knight d4, white is much better, but Borky definitely didn't want to. My captain didn't want to play morning game, and he's always happy and fine um, with the draw. Last few years, he doesn't want to push very hard, and game ends in a draw. We do have some very important games which I cannot skip. Magnus drew, and I can say 36 moves against Magnus, and with the black pieces, we can definitely say easy draw for Wei. Yes, this is a well-known line. This queen d3. Another move is maybe moving the bishop. Knight b6. Let's see, takes, this, rook c6, and f5. Yes, rook b6, knight takes a4. Something else was working? No, black is fine. White is also. Yes, not much was really happening. Easy draw mm, by Wei. And I should say that Anish as well couldn't pose any problems or much problems against David Howell. And takes, bishop g2, b3, bishop b2, knight a3, knight c2. Yes, very easy. David Howell managed to get even slightly better position. Of course, Anish was prepared. He had some ideas, I'm sure, but taking c takes d and bishop g2, the way he played. Of course, I cannot criticize, but somehow I don't believe, I don't like. Mm. And then we are having uh, result. Sindarov won with the black pieces against Christian. And let's see what was really happening. It's knight d5, g6, c3, bishop g7, d6, bishop b1. It seems like Christiansen is aware of the line e5. Computer doesn't like it that much. No, but it's a decent move. And knight f5. And here just bishop f5, knight f5, queen d8, knight b6. This. And black is already better. And black is already much better. Yes, rook e4, knight b7, huge blunder. Bishop e5, knight e5, knight c2, game over. Wow. Wow, somehow Sindarov didn't see this. Black is anyway slightly better. Game should end in a draw, of course. Bishop c3. a4 was the best. But it is obvious that a4 is the best, no? Wow. Wow. a4, rook b3. Oh. No, even this is enough. And this is lost. Yeah, you could even take king e4, king f3, king g3. No, but the way Sindarov played is also enough. And here Christiansen resigned. A very bad game by Christiansen. Like, first of all, here he could simply play bishop f5, forcing knight f5, queen d8, rook d8, knight b6. Maybe he doesn't have any problems, at least. So he gets unpleasant position, and then he blunders, and Sindarov doesn't see it. And then in this very drawish position, like just a4, b takes a, rook a4, and then a takes b, rook b5, takes king d3, b3. Like, goes bishop c3, and this is already lost. And then we are having so seems like Magnus's team just lost, because Van Forest won against Jonas Bjerre. This bishop c2, stopping knight a5 c5. It's fine. Bishop c2. Yes, d5, for example. Yes. Black doesn't have much problems. Black is not even worse. Just rook c8, queen d7 is also fine. Rook e7, threatening some rook e8. Honestly speaking, never seen this kind of idea. a5, and now d5, and now takes. Rook e5, bishop b2, and bishop on g6 is very much restricted. This rook c8 with the idea to go c6 probably. Queen f3. Again rook c8. But since Jonas played rook d8, going rook c8 on next move psychologically not the easiest. Knight b3. Knight is coming to c5. Taking the pawn. He takes d4. Knight d4 plus a move. He takes the queen d4, queen h8. Knight f5. You are very much welcome to take on g5. Queen f2 is queen d3, knight d3, and here king g3. Black resigned. Yes, good game by Jordan, and somehow bad game by Jonas. And we see that Maurizi Mark Andrea ended his game in a draw against Andrei Yasipenko, and they had bishop e6. 94 tactical ideas are there. 95, knight b8, queen d7. Pawn on a4 was under attack. 92. Black doesn't have any problems, but probably they are not. 96. F4. Rook F3. And now maybe black got some hopes, but not much. And Andrei even didn't try. And we see that Ronak Sadvani lost with the white pieces against Soch. Let's see how. Manjin doesn't like this bishop f3. Queen c2. Knight g4 was working. And now white is even better. Much better. From very unpleasant position, Raunak managed to get better position, but Queen e2 was the best. And some 95, for example, this is not really working. Oh, he blundered in a much better position or close to winning position. 93 would have been the strongest. Yes, and here just king g1, and game slowly ends in a draw. Yes, hard to say what is this rook f3 move. And here, of course, white resigned. Nielsen Gustafsson game ended in a draw. I think we do have probably Magnus's team lost. And we are having all the rest, the white pieces. H3, A4, Rook D1, and now Bishop F4 was the best. So this takes 96. Which move is working here? Any tactical ideas? 94 is working. Knight is going to C4. And here after E5, Reza offered the draw, which was accepted by Leon Vivaich. Levon Aronian drew against with the black pieces against Martin Kramer. Kramer drew against Lodici. Nasuta drew against MVL. Rapport drew against Zilka. Ferreira against Svidler. And only Rustam Kasimjanov won against Kazakovsky. Yes, very. Which other games are we having? Dragnev lost against Nisipiano. Michalik won against Alonso. Santos lost. Yes, hard. Against Vogel. Yes, slow play. And slowly White is outplaying. Maybe this ideas with 94, 96 is not good at all. And this is already much better for White. After 92, bishop f6 ideas are there. And now a4, and now d4. And now d takes c. Bishop b5. e4 was there, but bishop f6. Knight b1. This. Knight c3. Knight d5. Knight d5. Wow, such a classic game. By starting from this point. And g3. And bishop g2. Surprisingly, pawn on d5 is a weak, target weakness. Knight d2. And queen a8 ideas aren't working really. Why we aren't playing queen a8? Engine actually shows as the best move, but White is going h4 and then g4. Yes, after knight b5, a4, it's very hard to go knight d6, especially when it doesn't really work. Bishop e5, and now e4 was there, but bishop f6, and knight b1. And now a5, and now knight c3, and now b4, c takes b, rook c8. It's a very classy game. And Vladimir Fedoseev wins another game, and I like the way he starts the game, because he recently qualified to the tournament in Weisenhaus or Fischer Random, and that's why we can understand why he's playing c3. He can probably start the game with any first move. So this, but they eventually got theoretical position. a5. Yeah, something similar Fedoseev had against Anton David in Spanish Team Championship. Black is fine. And here queen d5 engine doesn't like. Knight d5 or queen d7. But again, it's not much. For example, here a3. Yes, this engine doesn't like at all. Activating the rooks. And checkmate. And Bartel won with the white pieces against Amin Batabey. And black is already better, much better. Bartel is trying to create some threats, but of course it doesn't work because white doesn't have much forces. And now maybe white is not worse, but earlier of course it was very unpleasant for white. Queen a4, queen a2, king h7 would have been the best. And now bishop h5 was very strong. Even g4 is very nice. g5 was working. And now c3 was the best. And now rook d7, c5. Wow. Probably, I mean, Tabatabai didn't deserve this loss, but at some point he started collapsing. In h1, with the white pieces against Paulius Pultinevicius, so the weekend was not really good. He lost against Fedosiev and against Indic. And we see that SL Narayanan has lost against Kazakovsky. Wow. Bishop b4, definitely Narayanan plays for something more than equality. And queen e7. And what is already much better? Is queen d4, knight a4. And yeah, just knight d5. And surprisingly, this position is very bad for black. This is just lost. Of course, it is lost. Horobov Heyman, bout of Anton. Horowind wins another game. Oh, rook c1 and later on rook d1. Yes, maybe some b5. And knight g4 mistake. Detective was working, but queen e2 is also nice. And here white is better, much better. Knight h4 was there, maybe this is not really working. And slowly Aravind wins another game. Kamsky won against Sarana. Was this. Wow. Very nice game. Just bishop b7, bishop b7, rook a2. Oh, this is very bad already. Yes, very classic game by uh, Kamsky. 95, e4, d4, knight b5, queen b6, queen a6, and queen e1, and no e5. That's why bishop c7, e5, knight g7. There's always some knight a5 ideas are there. Knight a5, yes. And now b4. And now knight b3, threatening knight c5, and now knight c5. Now rook b1. Now takes. Yes, but why not rook a2? Rook c8 takes. Yes, unpleasant, but not. Or here takes. And just takes bishop d2. And this is quite unpleasant. Masudlu eventually won. And let's just c3. This takes. b5. Very risky line. Especially against Parham. f4. g4. Knight g3. Black doesn't have problems. Just c6. b5 takes. Maybe bishop b5 is not the best. This is already lost. Knight h6. Yes, very interesting game. So starting from here, f4, b5 was working. Now g4. Yes, it takes, and c6. Yes, bishop b5, of course. And along g file. Nice game. Good W bomb. Game ended in a draw. Position. Yes. Colors Abdusatorov. Fiddler drew. Any good games you guys recommend? Let's just say Kamsky, Sarana, and Parham against Gledura. Thank you very much, dear friends. Please leave your comments. It's very interesting for me to get some feedback. What are you thinking? What are you wishing to have in our upcoming videos? Thank you very much.